Welcome back to CFB Nation. I am your host, Nino Brown. I got my guy with me, Mr. Get It Done, aka D Now. And we're on the screen together. You already know the deal, what time it is. It's Devy Dollins. We're going to be bringing you this new prospect. Before we break it down and get into it, my guy's probably a little pumped. He got some news that he's been kind of waiting for a little bit, and he's ready to go. D Now, how are we doing on this pre Halloween night?
It's a beautiful day in the Knoll House. Brian Ferentz from Iowa stepping down. And then today's, though, I just saw on TV the one day where all four major sports are playing on the same night.
Yes. Yep.
So, I mean, what a better day.
I must give it out to. I'm not a hockey guy, but I do like. I think it was like the sixth day of the season. They had this. It was called like the Frozen Frenzy, where each game kicked off every 15 minutes.
Mm.
Like and every team played. You know what I mean? So you could kind of watch. God bless. That's got to be a lot of analytics to get that to all work out and play out. But we get this once a year where every major sport is playing. And I believe there's soccer on tonight as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So I just know because our guy there, Optimus Hine, Chris, he's got that soccer this show there, SBC, and I always hear him talking. So, all right, let's talk about this gentleman. I think he's a diamond in the rough. I don't think enough people are talking about him. I think he had a little bit of buzz going into the pre-injury, right? And then the injury happened, and kind of they just forgot about him. It was only a one-game thing, but we're gonna be talking about this gentleman here. He's something else. Western Michigan's Jalen Buckley, 5'11", 210 pounds. And I think the 210 pounds might be a little bit on the light side. I don't think they're giving you the right side. He plays a little heavier, but we'll get into that. He's from the 2026 draft class. Dino, tell me a little bit about him.
Yeah, so he's from Aurora, Illinois, went to Batavia High School. He was the 2021 Max Prep Player of the Year, and in high school, he played running back and safety.
You got to love these kids, right, that play both sides of the ball. Right. And I hear running back and safety, and the first thing comes to my mind is contact, right? Dude just loves contact, ain't gonna shy away from it. If he can't get it while he's running the ball, he's gonna get it on the defensive side of the ball. So the kid just likes, get physical. And you get a physical running back at 210, 210, 215, somewhere in that ballpark. Ooh, you might have something. And at Batavia High School is a junior year from 2020 to 2021. He only played 6 games. We obviously know why, COVID season. Uh, 45 attempts, 49 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, averaging close to 8 yards per pop. I gotta love it. I can only imagine if he had the full season where he would have ended. But he also had 3 receptions for 24 yards and a touchdown. Talk to me about the senior year.
Yeah, so his senior year, 21-22, he played 10 games, 189 rushes for almost 1,200 yards, 6.3 yards per carry, and 16 touchdowns. And then on top of that, he had 5 100-plus yard games.
Yeah.
And then he also got into the passing game a little bit more, 16 receptions, 230 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So 20 total touchdowns his senior year. That's crazy.
Right. Now, listen, I understand, Michigan is football country, but Western Michigan, it might not be, okay? Eastern Michigan's a little bit more kind of known, right? Like you might get a couple players in that area. They're like, all right, Eastern Michigan's good. We had that guy, Samson Evans or whatever it was last year, and I believe this year, running back out of there. So, but he didn't, these numbers are good. Like, the growth from one year to the next, like I said, if we could have got a full COVID season, what he would have got there, he got 3 offers: Indiana State, Eastern Illinois, and Western Michigan. I don't know what they were watching, Dino, but from what I watched and what I think you watched as well, I saw something. What did you see? Because there was a lot of things I saw pop off the screen.
Yeah, so first thing I noticed is if there's a hole, he is gone. He just shoots through that hole like a cannon. He is a workhorse type running back. You could give him 20 plus carries, and I think he'd be able to easily.
Yes.
That 210 plus frame helps. He is always churning. Those legs are always moving. It's really hard to get him down because he always keeps them moving. And when you do happen to get him down, he falls forward.
Yes.
So I mean, he's always helping his team in some aspect of the run game. Always getting that extra inch if needed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the physicality part of it was what jumped off the screen to me. And the first thing you said, shout out of Ken. If there is no contact, although we know that our guy likes the contact, if there is no contact, good luck. I mean, he doesn't have this like 4.3, low 4.4 speed, but he pulls away. Like you're really not catching him. And I know it's odd to say, but like kind of like Jackson Smith and Jigba, right? He can pull away. You're probably really not catching him from behind unless you're like the super speedy guy, but he doesn't have that like right, like just step like no Tyreek Hill situation at the end, But he just seems to just churn himself away and pull away downfield. What I like about him, is for a guy at 210, just under 6 foot, he kind of like a little bit like a stocky gentleman, right? And he got that one cut and go ability. Like he puts that foot in the ground, it makes him move. And like I said, he gets that separation. It's just exploding. Like his angles, like he knows when to plant, when to take that move, and then now when he's in the open field, if he's on the outside, he sees the defender coming. He knows how to close in the angle and get the most yardage or opportunity for a blocker to come up. So his vision in the open field is great. Like I said, he's physical at the point of attack. He's a yak monster. I mean, this guy, we're gonna get into some of his numbers this year. Uh, they're just dumb when it comes to like yards after contact, stuff like that. I've watched him in multiple games. I mean, I know the Francis game. No disrespect to any team, but St. Francis College isn't like the biggest school out there, right? And it is what it is. But he was carrying dudes. This Eastern Michigan game, I watched him like go 3-4 yards with like safety and a linebacker on his feet, one guy on his back, and he was just dragging guys. So he's got the physicality. He's stout. He's like Mighty Mouse. You find a little bit of daylight, and he's gonna get in that little hole and just dive in there. And like I said, like you said, falls forward no matter what. 1, 2, 3, it's always positive. So get me into this Western Michigan and how it all got down.
Yeah, so in 22, he played 4 games, only had 9 attempts for 27 yards. Therefore, he redshirted.
Right.
This year, he's played in 8 games, 139 rushing attempts, 775 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 6 yards a carry. He's at 5.6 right now. And he has 13 receptions for 129 yards or 9.9 yards per catch. And I will throw this out. Week 3, I want to say it was when they played Iowa. Uh, while his numbers weren't the best, I think he had like 30, 33 yards. Um, what I did notice about him, like you said, he's not afraid of contact. And with Iowa having one of the better front sevens in the nation, and this guy being almost a true freshman, pretty much,
Yeah.
uh, I love that he wasn't afraid. He didn't let the Cena Kinnick get to him, and he went right at those dogs like it was nothing. So
Yeah, like the moment wasn't too big for him, right? Like he
mhm.
doesn't. I noticed even when there's like games where it's starting to kind of pull away and it's like close, like with the yards, like it's 3rd and 3, but we really need this first down because it's kind of like down by 2 score. You see him chirping like, "Yo, you give me the ball somehow, some way." He wants to be factored into the game. Uh we say physicality and at the line of just at the line of scrimmage is powerful. 415 yards after contact this year. Okay, 2.99 yards after contact per attempt. I feel like he's like a missile. He just looks for it. Like he's like, all right, there's a guy. I'm gonna run at this guy because he's not stopping me. There's another guy. I'm gonna hit that guy, and then I got 6 yards. It's like, unbelievable. The guy averaged almost 3 yards per attempt after contact. That's like Derrick Henry type stuff. And I'm not comparing him to them by any means. I'm just saying, but when you look at the numbers, right, that's just dumb for a guy that's not even 6 feet tall. At 176 snaps, he missed week 6 with an injury. He has 19 10-plus yard runs already this season with the game missed. I don't understand why people aren't talking about him. Like our guy Lob, John Lobby always likes to say fast feet. This guy's got the fast feet. I
Mhm.
feel like his heels never touch the ground. He's always like, you know what I mean? He's always on the tips of his toes, always making a move. Even when he's running, he's just constantly looking for that next move because he's always aware of what's going on. And he, like I said, we got those angles. Pass game, he gets involved. He sits and waits. He knows where to set himself up to be. If they tell him he would be checked down, Charlie, he doesn't get antsy. He's not trying to do a wheel route down. He'll be there for his QB and sit, and then he'll make something out of nothing. We've seen a couple of these guys, right?
Mhm.
In the past few years, and they've been successful. I think you have a good comp. I wasn't even thinking about him. I had a comp. We're gonna get into it very soon. Um, I think it was health concerns kind of take my comp out of it, but he was starting to get to that point in Seattle where he might have been, the guy before Kenneth Walker and all that. Um, so let's get to it. I'm gonna go with play comp. Is kind of I see Chris Carson because Chris Carson loved contact. He just loved it. His lower body just never stopped moving. Right, he just is always going. And then from modern comp for a guy I'm not really a big fan of, but coming out of college, I think this kind of works. Is Damon Pierce, right? Damien Pierce, physical runner. Um, Never got to 200 carries. But obviously, Buckley's, he probably going to surpass 200 carries this year as a red shirt, but just 5 yards of whack, right? Just
Mhm.
physical, like always falling forward, always going to get you positive yards. When he doesn't need to be subbed out, can be a 3 down back. And one thing Pierce doesn't really have, but he is developing it slowly in the NFL is the hands, right? He's getting that receiving game. So, talk to me about your comp. I think if he can hit this, I think he's got a huge ceiling at the next level.
So I added a couple while we were talking. That just if he could hit some of these, then like you said, my modern day comp is a gentleman that's playing tonight, and I picked him solely because it's the wheels always moving,
Yes.
falling forward. He's more physical back, and that's David Montgomery for the Lions. And then I did kind of start thinking more, and one name that started coming to my mind was Maurice Jones-Drew, Doug Martin-ish, just
Okay.
frame wise. I don't. While he's listed at 5'10", I don't think he's truly 5'10".
Right.
I think he's a little smaller, and this comp is solely just based off of frame.
Right.
Smaller, stockier running backs that could help in the pass game, but also were a little bit more physical. So
Yeah. I mean, listen, the size I get in the frame, maybe from the head to the waist, but those guys had tree trunks for legs.
but
Both
you also
Jones
got to think
Drew.
this guy's only 19,
Right. No,
so
I get it. I get
the
it.
tree trunks will be there. I
Yeah,
guarantee it.
because Jones Drew and the muscle hamster, Dougie
Oh
Martin,
yeah,
those guys were kind of like, I don't want to say outliers because there was all star. They had those other guys as well that played that type of
yeah.
role, Matron Means and stuff. You know what I mean? But like they were just little dudes that were at the time where little dudes were just scrawny. These guys were big and they were powerful.
Mhm.
I mean, Jones Drew before the injury, he had like 5 or 6 years where he was just
Oh, unstoppable.
dominant.
Yeah.
And then Dougie Mont had at least 3 or 4 at Tampa Bay where he was like a dude. I know, I might be getting off track, but I know fantasy wise, Dougie Martin was a league
Oh
winner
yeah.
for like 2 or 3 years in the NFL. So yeah, I mean, and Chris Carson as well. There was 2 years in fantasy where Chris Carson was an absolute machine. I think if he can hit any of those levels,
Oh yeah.
and I think it's possible because if what you're seeing now is a freshman, and that's in West Michigan, who's to say he even stays there? You know what I
I
mean?
was
There's
just gonna
plenty of
ask that.
schools that need a good running back, and there's plenty of schools that are losing good running backs probably this year in the draft. So uh, I don't know where he's gonna go, but I do know that where he's at now, he is performing, he's stepping up to the plate, and he's caught the eye of both me and Dino as a Devy Dolan. Going forward for the rest of the season, we're going to be going after those guys that you really not hearing about that could possibly be. Obviously, Castellanos has got that buzz now, but he's not that true QB. He's a true dual threat whose legs are the first option. But I always say for quarterback for me, I need to see that the arm be the number one option, your legs be secondary. A lot. Lamar Jackson's started to these last couple of years develop that, but barring injury. So he's one. Obviously, there ain't nobody out there talking about Donovan Brown. We were talking about Donovan Brown, okay, and I haven't heard a damn gentleman talk about Buckley at all. We're bringing up Buckley. Uh, we're gonna hit the drawing boards next month. New list. Me and Dino we'll put the minds together. We're gonna come up with 4 new freshmen, redshirt freshmen, sophomores. That's the limit, and we'll see what we can come up with. But I'll be damn positive that it's gonna be guys that not everybody else is talking about that you're gonna be hearing about next year. Going, hey, where did this guy come from? Debbie Dollins had him. We were here first. CFB Nation, my guy, Mr. Get It Done, Dino. I'm Nino Brown. This is Debbie Dollins. We out of here. You know the drill. Run it. Randall.